Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hussein Mahadi. I hope you can all hear me loud and clear. Please, mentees, let's indicate if you can hear me so I can continue.
I can hear you.
All right, thank you very much for indicating. Welcome everyone to today's session on Gypsy Mentorship and Internship Program, Artificial Intelligence. And our topic for today is robotics and oversight. We are having two of our prestigious mentors with us today. I'm discussing this topic with us, the mentees, Mr. Gabriel Udo and Mr. Bodi Akimodu, who are AI experts. So stay tuned to learn about the topic and broaden your knowledge. Quickly, I'll be taking reading the mentor's profile. Immediately then I'll jump into allowing the mentors to start the presentation. We can all welcome Mr. Bode. He is on the call, and we are awaiting Mr. Gabriel to join the call very soon. So let me start with Mr. Bode's profile. Bode Akimodu is a co-founder and CTO at Lensley Robotics, expert in building hardware, prototyping, development, management, and mass manufacturing of robotics, and automated systems. Thank you very much, Mr. Bode, for making us time to join us here today. Our second mentor is, I believe we all know him by now. He's been here with us for the 4 weeks we've had this program. Mr. Gabriel Udo, currently a PhD candidate in autonomous weapon systems and international humanitarian law at Europea Università Vadruna Frankfurt Oder. Gabriel is a researcher in AI law, policy and ethics. His thesis analyzes ethical and legal implications of introducing autonomy into lethal weapon systems. Previously, he won the DA funding for his project Intelligent Weaponry Law and Ethics, and later joined the International AI for Earth Observation Lab in Munich as the Beyond Fellow. With a passion for exploring the intersection between technology and ethics law, his research spans across a wide range of areas, including ethical, responsible uses of AI, smart city technology, digital colonialism, privacy, comparative analysis in the application of technologies, autonomy in weapon system, and more. As a strong advocate for human-friendly autonomous systems, Gabriel is committed to designing technologies that prioritizes the need and well-being of humans. Additionally, he possesses an immediate level of proficiency in Python programming, allowing him to understand sophisticated software solutions to complex problems. And that's the profile for both mentors for today. Kindly join me in welcoming our mentors on the chat box. Do well to do so. And for those of us joining us for the first time, I'll also take what Gypsy Mentorship and Internship Program is all about. Program is a quarterly program for students and young professionals across Africa. And these are afforded the opportunity to access valuable advice, training, network, mentorship, internship, discussion forum, industry updates, and resource materials from experienced mentors. The program seeks to encourage continuous training, development, and evolution in Nigeria, Africa, and around the world. You can search for most of our videos and also watch recap on YouTube by searching for JIIPC or JIIPCCMIP. Some of the objectives of the program is to provide easy access, guidance, training, and resource material for students and young professionals, to facilitate dialogue and network among experienced and less experienced practitioners and stakeholders, transform mentees into mentors and leaders for the next generation, and finally to facilitate further mentorship, internship, scholarship, and job placement for the mentees. We also have a 30-minute one-on-one session for our mentees, and also 30-minute one-on-one session with your favorite mentor. You can register by signing up through the link bit.ly/JIPCCPM. And also, we are taking in mentees for the next quarter of the program um, on areas like intellectual property, AI as well, the energy industry, fintech, health tech and law, patent drafting, blockchain, NFTs, and the metaverse, data protection and privacy, and finally, entertainment, business, and law. That's the announcements for today. I hope we all got that. We are still awaiting most of our mentees. I can see the attendance is really, really poor. So I would encourage everyone to hit your teammates to join the call. Our mentors are here with us. So I'm giving the floor to Mr. Bode Akimodu to start off um, our topic for today. We are expecting a very broad um, overview of the topic and introduction to the topic. Thank you very much, sir. The floor is yours.
Okay. You want me to speak on the general topic?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Good day to everyone. I'm Bode Akimodu. I think the description of what I do is clear. So currently CTO, co-founder of Lienside Robotics. It's a robotics development and prototyping company focused on industrial solutions. Concerning the, I think we've been on this program. I've been on this program a couple of times in the past, and I've been able to see. I think I'm getting to understand it even better about how the legal what are the legal ramifications of what robotics would is concerned about, the legal ramifications of robotics on economies, on industries, on nations, and the whole world at large. So definitely, I'm sure everyone who has done their homework realizes that AI and robotics are key aspects of today's of the fast changing world global economy. Africa is also experiencing some of that fast pace. I can't really speak so much on AI because I'm not heavily focused on AI, but definitely yes, in robotics we have to apply some forms of artificial intelligence, but it's not as predominant in some aspects of robotics as others. So based on what we've seen so far, based on our work so far, yes, the need for automated systems, in this case, robotic systems across different industries is really rearing its head. It's not something that can be avoided. We've seen that it's not something that can be avoided, especially if you are a company that is big on research and development in this space. You cannot really avoid the use of data to improve the kind of systems we are building. So, and with data, you need some form, right from the point of using deep learning algorithms, machine learning algorithms. You eventually have to move to the point of using AI in one regard or the other. As I said, depending on the kind of system and application that requires the use of that artificial intelligence algorithm. So yes, we're seeing more and more in the industry, and there definitely will be and have already been some form of regulation, which will require legal monitoring and which will have legal ramifications as well. So we expect so much to come up, especially in the legal field. AI is getting really significant in disrupting a lot of professions today. And I know the legal profession is not omitted from it. There are so many things that today are being artificially intelligently, improved. So there's a need to add one form of smartness or one form of intelligence, or just basically taking off repetitive tasks by human beings. So AI goes beyond just taking out repetitive tasks. It goes further into trying to mimic the kind of intelligence that a human would have, right? In terms of having conversations, in terms of making predictions. We have a lot of that through machine learning and deep learning, making predictions in terms of making rational or logical decisions. I would say logical decisions. So we are seeing that. We're seeing smarter bots in terms of customer support. We are seeing better RPAs with the use of AI. There are more and more easier ways to connect with advanced algorithms that have been trained by really powerful supercomputers. So it's something that is really taking form and shape in many regards. That's more or less where I see a lot of things happening overall in the field of AI. And I know there are some things we cannot emphasize right now. I definitely know there are some things that we cannot prepare for, but definitely there are also some things that we already see happening and we expect to happen in coming months and years ahead. Let's see.
Mr. Bode, do we still have you on the call? I don't know if you are done or it's network.
Yeah, okay, I think I'm more or less done. Let me see.
All right, thank you very much. We don't have Mr. Gabriel yet on the call with us, and I will still be taking questions from our mentees, but for now, I'll call on our mentees to make their PowerPoint presentations where you listen and also make contribution and corrections. I hope Group One's presenter is ready and have your PowerPoints ready. Presenter for Group One, are you on the call?
Yes, good afternoon. I'm on the call. Group one is on the call.
All right, you can start your presentation now.
Okay. All right. Good morning. Can you see my screen? Hello?
We can't see your screen yet.
Okay, I'm coming, please.
Okay, we can see your screen now, but not your presentation yet.
All right.
Okay, we can see your presentation now.
Can I see it? Okay. All right. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. This is Emmanuel Nekentun. I'm presenting for Group 1 on the topic Robotics and Oversights. Can you hear me? Am I being heard?
Yes,
being
loud
heard.
and clear. Loud and clear.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So the topic is Robotics and Oversight. Okay. Now let's talk briefly about robotics. Okay. So robotics is a branch of artificial intelligence, actually. So it deals with the the building of robots. Okay, it's a sector that deals with building robots for different purpose, um, different fields, different industries. So it combines artificial intelligence, mechanical engineering, computer science to build very efficient robots for different purposes. Now we found ourselves in an age where robots are really important, okay, to support human activities, to support the workforce. And so we see the efficiency of robots in our time, but there have been a lot of fears as to what robot can do and what they cannot do. So more about robot here, okay. So robot, like I said, it's the product of robotics. Okay, robots are built for specific purpose. For instance, in the medical industry, you see robots. In engineering, in construction, you see robots. Okay, and you can see some of the applications here. Okay, some of the applications of robotics. Now we build robots for industries, for drilling, different industrial activities, for lifting things, for drilling, for cutting, and all of that. In the military, we make use of robots. Okay, like the dash, and like the dash that's used to during war. Okay, during war for so this dash was built to more like accompany military activities, in destroying dangerous objects. So robots are used in medicine, medical diagnosis, surgery, drug administration. So in exploration, we see robots being used there, like the sports. So in different industries, we see robots as very, very relevant. Okay. So but the there's this issue, like I said earlier, like can robots turn against humans? So this question brings us to the movies we have watched in the days past: Terminator, Avengers, The Matrix. Okay, when we recall these movies, there's this fear that because I remember I watched a documentation recently that someone was talking about. So even the chat GTP is still offline, and the extent at which it delivers information is so much. So we are more like, I hope nothing negative would come out of this new innovation, in this century. So when we remember these movies, there is this salient fear, that can robots do otherwise? So that's it. So but to avoid that is where we come to the concept of oversight. Okay, robots are being built, okay, to support humans, but it doesn't just end in feeding robots and allowing them to work, for instance, on the streets, in industries, in supermarket and all of that. So there is need for oversight. Okay. Now, someone said, like Deloitte, he said that there are thousands of humans watching and improving the algorithms of robots. Okay. Now, for instance, when 50 robots are sent into a particular industry, now, they continuously work and, bringing out a lot of output, but it doesn't just end there. It doesn't just end there. There's need to monitor what is being done because errors can occur at any time. So it brings us into it calls our attention to the fact center, okay, needs to be monitored. The fact that they can do what they have been constructed to do doesn't mean they should be independent. They shouldn't be totally independent. They should work with humans, and humans should actually be the masters of these robots. Okay, so this is the importance of oversight now. Okay, but this oversight, there's a lot of challenges in terms of oversight. Okay, to monitor these activities, there's resource constraints. Okay, now, like I said, to keep the robots working effectively and updating this data requires a lot of resources. So this is a challenge in terms of oversight. There's poor coordination. Okay, as a result of this high growth and fast speed of innovation in terms of this artificial intelligence and robotics. Okay, a lot of data need to be coordinated. A lot of activities and industries need to be coordinated. So there's this poor coordination in terms of this aspect. Then we see the importance of government intervention and the need for government to monitor the activities of the industries producing the robots, okay, in terms of laws and control. Okay, so but we see a challenge in government monitoring because of the fast pace of the growth of this industry. Now we talk about the pacing problem. Okay, regulatory oversight it's really difficult. So, and this comes as a question: can regulatory oversight keep pace with the fast pace of technological innovations? Okay, where we can't conclusively answer that question, but it's actually a rhetorical question. So there's need for regulatory oversight to keep pace with the fast move of these innovations, so that these unforeseen circumstances can be overcome. All right. So, but what can be done now in terms of robotics? We see the need for regulation and laws. We have seen countries like Saudi Arabia where they are talking about giving citizenship to robots. I wonder how it's going to end up. So, or maybe it has been accepted already. So laws should be human-centric in terms of this aspect, okay? Because humans are likely to be harmed. Now, for instance, if a robot is working in an industry and then working together with humans, accidents can occur. So we are talking about what will happen if the humans in these industries are injured or harmed. Who is going to take the responsibility? So that's why these things need to be monitored, need to be controlled, so that man will not be harmed by their activities. Okay. So now, sorry, let me continue a bit from here. So talking about what can be done in terms of regulation. So there's need for collaborative effort between the government agencies and policymakers. Okay. There's need for regular audits. Need to regularly audit, like for instance, these codes that are being put together, they need to go ahead and regulate, check it out, what can be what can be corrected, what can be updated. So there's need for government agencies to really engage the producers in terms of licensing this industry that produce the robots. Okay, there's need for effective legal framework and all of that. So everything that should be done should be actually favor humans and not necessarily robots. Okay, so am I being heard? Hello?
Yes, you are being heard.
Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm concluding now. So robots have been very effective in working with humans and engaging with humans in terms of different industry, health, food security, legal services. So they're very important and necessary. But the rumor that it will steal job opportunities is one which is actually understandable, although not not the way it seems. That's one. And the aspect of securing human persons, okay, securing humans and guarding the welfare of the people should be taken into consideration. So the good news therefore is that humans will need to be very much needed, or will be very much needed in structuring the workability of robots. So they should be the first consideration. So that is where oversight now comes in. So the human or man should be the master of the robots and not robots being the master. They shouldn't take charge, but man should take charge of robotic activities and the control. All right, so thank you.
Thank you very much, Niketon, for that very brief and informative presentation on behalf of your group. I'll be giving the floor to Group 2 to make their presentation right now. I hope the presenter is ready on the call. Group 2 presenter, are you on the call? Do you have Group 2 presenter on the call, please? Any member from Group 2 can
yes, we do.
present. Okay. Please, you can start your presentation now.
So I'm trying to share my screen.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Olive.
Good afternoon.
I'm presenting for Group 2. Our topic is on robotics as it relates to labor law. So as robotics becomes increasingly prevalent in our world, it is vital to explore the implications they have on our workforce and the need for adopting labor laws to address the challenges and opportunities they bring. So we would be looking at definition of robotics, the significance of labor law, the impact of automation, real world examples, challenges, and essential recommendations to strike a balance between technological advancement and workers' rights. Screen is covering this. So automation and robotics becomes increasingly prevalent in our world. It is vital to explore the implications they have on our workforce and the need for adopting labor laws to address the challenges and opportunities they bring. So robotics is something that has come to help mankind. Automation and robotics, yeah, it's something that has come to help mankind and help us in with ease of doing our jobs, you know, preventing us so much errors and making our work very, very, very fast, you know, and you could actually see that human race is moving faster by the day. And then these robots, the implementation of robotic devices, you know, in aids larger production, and we spend lesser time in, you know, producing and carrying out our day-to-day tasks. And so robotic is actually a welcome development in the world. So however, robotics are machines that can perform tasks like human beings. They mimic human beings, the actions of human beings, and they perform different tasks like washing. You can find them in supermarkets and various places that people decide that they want to use robots. They want to use the service of a robot other than the service of a human being to make their work faster. And labor laws is like set of laws that protects workers' rights and ensure fair treatment in the work environment. So the impact of automation on employment. Robotic is actually a very good thing for me in particular, you know. I mean, someone like me that cooks and have a large family, you know, you want to employ the service of a robot to cut down the time of cooking. I mean, from 5 hours to, you know, to 10 minutes, and it just do everything sharp and have time to focus on other things that you are doing, right? So however, some people...
Hold on, sorry to interrupt. Please, can you elaborate how robot helps you to cook? I'm just trying to process that.
Like robots can help, like...
Have you actually tried it, or you're just telling us?
No, I'm just speaking.
Okay,
I'm saying that if I have a robot, right, this is how it can help me, right? It can help me cut down the time of cooking. Like I cook, you can actually stay in the kitchen for like 5 hours cooking something, but if there's a robot that could just assist in doing everything, basically you just write out the recipes you want, you know, and how to cook it and all that stuff, the different things you need, and then it will just prepare it for you within splits in some minutes, and then voila, you're able to do every other thing you want to do aside cooking. You don't have to think about cooking as a major issue.
Yeah, I think I will also employ that too.
You think you also what?
I will also employ that. I've been having issues cooking.
Exactly.
All right.
So, so looking at it, we have different impacts. We have the negative impact and we have the positive impact. So some people see it as a welcome development like me, whereas others could actually also see it as a not so welcome development because it could chase them away from their jobs. So if I have a robot attending to my needs when it comes to cooking, it means that people that help me to cook that I pay monthly, they may not have a job again. That's what they say, right? So it's something that for them, they see it as, oh no, this is like a bad omen for us. And because it's going to help us we're going to lose our job in the process of, you know, when there is a robot and all that. So that's what people say. But in the course of this presentation, we're going to find out that there is actually a balance between robots working and workers also still having your workers being able to do the job, you not being able to lose your job as a human being because of a robot. So there's actually a balance, and that's where our labor law comes in and our recommendations. So I'll be giving us few real life examples of where automation, robots is being used. So I don't know if we know about this automated Amazon stores. So it's basically like a place where you go into and everything is just automated. So you are going in to shop. So it has, once you go in, you would log into your app, the Amazon app, or maybe the barcode or something. And then you're going through the shop. There are sensors, there are cameras everywhere. As you can see, they have them. There are sensors and cameras everywhere. And so once you start picking up your goods, the things that you want, it will start counting it for you. It will start counting. So once you're dropping it into your physical carts, it will also be dropping into your virtual carts because you're signed in. So by the time you're done shopping, and you're working out, it will do the calculation for you, and of course deduct money from your account, your already existing account, and of course give you the receipt of the things that you have bought. So this actually eliminates cashiers, the queues and all that stuff. I mean, everybody wants to, you want to own a business and you want to pay less. You want to pay less when it comes to what was the word, like you want to spend less money and have more profits. So that's what this automated Amazon store tends to do. You don't have cashiers, it eliminates cashiers, physical cashiers. Excuse me, sorry, somebody's saying something. Can I go ahead, please? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I thought somebody was trying to draw my attention to something. So it eliminates cashiers, right? Physical cashiers. And I think also it also eliminates those security at the gate or at the door or the entrance of the shops. And of course, people that would help you shop for things. So it's just go in, you don't even need to talk to anybody, just pick whatever you want, and then you just walk out of the store, and then everything will be sent to you. All your transaction would be done on your app, just like the way you shop at the comfort of your bed normally. The only difference with this one is that between shopping inside your house and this one is that you just have to go and see the things for yourself. That's all. Then we have an example of 247 drive-through supermarkets. So this one comes in different ways. So you have the ones where it's fully robotic, right? Where you can just drive through without coming out from your car. These places are usually stationed where these supermarkets are usually stationed where, there is actually, the life there is very fast paced. And people just want to run home and, do stuff and all that stuff. So you don't want to come out from your car. You don't want to spend time shopping in the supermarket or moving around looking for things. So all you need to do is, basically there could actually be like a machine, a touch screen device along the road or along the way. You could and it will have the list of the things that, the supermarket has in various categories. And then of course you punch the items that you want. You can punch the items that you want and and then the robots inside would do the picking up and bring it to you, to your car and all that stuff. That means that you would have paid for it. The calculations will be done and you would have paid for it online or via your credit card or your card, and you would have done the payment, and then the robot is going to bring it out to where your car is. And then of course you don't need to go into the supermarket, you just drive through. And then there is another one where this one does not completely eliminate human beings. When you get to the drive-through, you make a contact through the telecom there, and you list the things you want. Of course, there's also like a list of the things that the list of the things that the supermarkets have, and you make your order while still inside your car. And then once your order is done, it is being packed, and you move on to the next section. Hey, this is drawing on my screen. And you move up to the next section. You move to the next section where you make your payment, and you get your items without you stepping out of your car. You're just sliding through. And then there's another one where you have to pick things, like you could see on the screen here, where you have to pick things by yourself. And once you're picking it, there is a calculation. It has prices and all that stuff. So it's being calculated when you pick, and then you get to the payment point, and then you're able to just pay and then drive through. So I don't know which one that's really exists in Nigeria. I think the second one, you know, it's something that I know that Chicken Republic does. You just drive through and you make your payments and all that. So that particular one does not eliminate the presence of a human being. You still have human beings there to control the activities. It's not just fully robotics. So I think moving on to the next one, we have automated automobile industries. So they use robots and advanced machineries in manufacturing processes, every process from painting, the assembling of the equipment, to painting, to quality control, to even sales, you know, to quality control, to everything. They use robots to do that. They use robots to fast track the process. One of the reasons is to avoid, what do they call it, to less errors, swift production, swift delivery, and so on and so forth. So we also have another example, automated telecenters, services centers that use robotics and AI to handle customers' inquiries and tasks without the need for human operators. So I don't know if there are like things like this in Nigeria, but I've heard like it could actually serve as, maybe you go to a center, you know, normally when you want to take a course, some organizations usually give free courses or so to students, and then they have centers for it. You know, but when you go to those centers, you have to interface with the receptionist or the customer service, or people that will just help you through all the processes, give you laptop, give you this and all that stuff for you to log in. But this particular more automated telecenters eliminates totally all those people that you have to see, all those middlemen that you have to interface with. So you're going in, there is like, you know, the machine is telling you what to do. You go there, you input things by yourself, you learn by yourself, and when it's time you leave, you know, it's just there. Everything is just there. And of course there's CCTV camera, sensors and everything that would know, okay, who is coming in, so that nothing is missing and all that stuff. And then of course we have companies are also implementing chatbots. You know, you go online, like maybe your bank or any organization or any businesses. Some businesses use chatbots whereby even if they are not online, the chatbot has series of pre-written series of or pre-installed series of questions and answers, possible question and answers that customers would want to ask. And in fact, sometimes they will give you options of to control your questions. They will give you options of questions that you can click, or they just, you know, there's a set of codes that have been written that they can answer some questions. But then if they do not understand the languages you're using at that point, of course, that's when at that point they would not need the service of a real human being, and then they'll tell you, oh, okay, contact us at this, and we're going to get back to you, or something like that. So even companies also use virtual receptionists. Let's say, for instance, you know, instead of a normal human being answering your telephone call, somebody that you have to pay every month, they'll be sitting on your desk. They just apply for virtual receptionists online, and then, you know, educate this system on everything they do and all that stuff. And, you know, when someone calls your company, even by midnight, it actually helps your company stay all around the clock, 24/7 hours, all around the clock. And there is no excuse for lateness. You know, in this, sometimes the receptionist is late and then a call keeps ringing. You don't have that kind of excuse. And by midnight, of course, nobody's falling asleep because the computer is not sleeping, as long as it's fully charged and there's an internet to a stable internet. Calls can come in at any point in time. And, you know, the virtual receptionist respond to your call, and then of course give you what do they call it, rundown of maybe possible questions or possible complaints that you would like to take and all that. I think an example of that is our mobile app. sorry, not mobile app, our bank and our what do they call them? SIM cards, mobile service provider. Mobile service provider, when you call it, you're hearing things like, oh, press 1 if you want this, press 2 if you want to bow your hair, press 3 if you want to change your phone, all those kind of things. So yes, we have things like that. So all these things are geared towards making life easier for us. You are spending less, you are delivering more service, you are being very, like, it's just like a cheat ways of doing things, like faster ways of doing things in life. So robotics are actually a welcome development for me. So impacts, challenges of auto robots. Challenges of those robots. So impact on employment. The shift towards automation can lead to job displacement. Like I had earlier said, it feels like when you have, once you get to robots, it means like, it's like taking out people away, like giving robots the job of a human being. But nevertheless, the job of a human being cannot be totally taken away because robots cannot do anything. Like we have here, robot cannot do everything, right? Robot lacks empathy at this point in time. In industries where human interaction is crucial, the use of robots may result in a loss of emotional connection between service providers and consumers. Just for instance, still talking about like a receptionist, a virtual receptionist, or a customer service that is a robot. The person the robot does not even understand fear, does not even understand anxiety. It only understands the things, the words that you are speaking. It can't even read in between your emotion, in between lines. When someone calls me and start being politely, aggressive or something like that, it's sad about an incident, right? But it's using the right words. As a human being, I'll be able to sense like, okay, there's something wrong with this person. Oh, okay, this is what, and then I'll be able to probe and ask further questions. But the robot, what you're giving them, what you're giving the robot is what you're getting out. You're getting out the same thing. Except when you shout, oh, I'm very angry. And so, oh, you're very angry. Oh, how may I help you? And all that. How do I help you? Like, oh my God, how do I interact with this? So the whole idea of human interaction is just totally wiped out. And sometimes people go to places not because of the reason why we interact daily life. Doing our businesses and everything is much more than just doing those businesses. It's also for interaction. That's why every day you go out, you see human beings around, and you can actually be sad when you're in your house, but then you go out and come back, you're feeling very good about it because you've interfaced with a customer service that is very nice to you and polite to you, giving you a human touch, and all this is complimenting you and all this stuff. But that you don't get that from a robot and all that stuff. So just imagine the entire world being filled with robots. I mean, everybody's just in their house and you're wearing a very beautiful outfit and a very, and all psychedelic, you look all psychedelic, and then you're going out and nobody's giving you compliments. Everybody's just, because you're all robots, they're just straight-faced. And then they're like, what do you want? We're giving you this, we're giving you that. Oh, I want to buy ice cream. Okay, how much do you want to buy ice cream? I want it for that. Take it. And they do not even recognize like, oh, this person is actually looking exceptionally beautiful today. But if it's a human being, that person eventually do that. And then occupational hazard. Also, although automation improves safety in many areas, accidents involving robots and machinery can still occur, necessitating strict safety. So in as much as we're trying to also prevent errors, accidents can definitely occur in these places because they are robots and your machine, so accidents can occur. So there should be strict safety. The safety would be much more than normal when it's just human beings. Safety measures has to be doubled, and all that. So yes, same thing, loopholes of labor laws, especially in countries like Nigeria and other countries, our labor laws are outdated because humans, like, there's constant invention, constant innovation, constant, and the world is moving very fast. The world is moving very fast in terms of work, in terms of living, but it feels like our labor law is just constant or moving very, very slowly. And then after 20 years, they want to change it or tweak it and all that stuff. So that is, and then we do not have laws not evolving. So laws are not evolving. Laws are still static. now we currently have, in some industries, have robots and they have human beings. These laws are supposed to change. Laws are supposed to change that will also protect the human beings against robots and also protect robots against human beings. But we do not have these things in place. And so it's also a challenge to both workers and also, of course, the owners of the robots. Some countries such as Japan, however, and Korea have specific laws concerning robotics in the workplace, addressing issues like liability in robotics and accidents. So how do we address this issue? Recommendations, some of our recommendations are, when we have automation in workplaces, and there should be like a quota where, you just know that this aspect is not for robots. Human beings have to man this aspect. For instance, like the customer service. I don't know why I'm just so keen about customer service, because maybe probably that's my area, right? So customer service, virtual receptionist, these aspects, robots cannot handle it. However, it wants to happen. If we need to hire 20 staff, if we had 10 staff before and we need to hire 20 staff to make sure that we keep ourselves all around the clock, without any hitches, we are going to do it. Robots can't handle this aspect. Let humans handle it. So we divide the jobs. We know where robots are supposed to be and where humans are supposed to work, and not because there's constant evolving and all that stuff, and then you want to be like, oh, everybody's doing it, and then you want to fix robots in your customer service. You should know that this area of my business, robots cannot handle it. It has to be a human being that handle it. And then, of course, we should promote worker training. Now, this is it. So I in my opinion, actually, I don't think robots can actually take away the position of humans in the world at all, because there is always going to be a problem in the world, and then humans have the ability to solve problems. And once you're able to solve problems, then you're employed. You are either an employer of labor or you're a laborer also earning salary. There's always going to be a problem. And then with the changes in robotics, there's actually going to be a place for learning, constant reinventing yourself, constantly training yourself, developing your skills, even developing the skills that you are seeing a problem. Oh, these robots cannot handle this kind of problem. I'll be able to do, but I need to develop the skills to be able to handle it. How do I collaboratively work with a robot? Like, what skills do I need? They should be, labor law should implement it. Like, workers should gain training. They should be trained, and this can actually train to learn new skills, train them to adapt to the changing job markets so that they can remain employable in the era of automation. In the era of automation, if anyone sits at home and said, oh, I cannot be employed, I cannot find work today because robots have taken over all the job, I think the person is just being lazy. I doesn't want to push him or herself further. There is always a place for you once you keep reinventing yourself. So establishing safety regulations for the robots, and then stringent safety regulations should be put in place to ensure that automated systems are secure, reliable, and pose minimal risk to both workers and consumers. So there will be safety. Our laws should include safety rules, right? Since we have automation, so our safety rules will now be, the laws should now involve not just protecting humans, also protecting the robots against humans, and not just protecting humans workers from employers, but now your laws, the labor law is not just going to be protecting the workers' rights from the employers being exploited. Also, you're going to also protect robots from the workers from the robots, and then workers from the employers and all that stuff. So, and then of course, employers and workers. So you need to now, the labor law policymakers have to think through and see, okay, how can we, make this, how can we bring balance to this system, since it's not usually the way it's used to be before. So another thing is liability insurance. So you can see here, like, insurance product that provides liability insurance, and insurance product that provides protection against claims resulting from injuries and damage to other people or property. So there needs to be a presence of insurance, clear guidance on liability, and appropriate insurance coverage are essential to address issues that may arise from accidents or malfunction involving robots and automation. So that way, even if your robot malfunctions, your robot has an issue and all that stuff, you can easily replace your robot because of course you have insurance, and of course human beings too, you can treat them, pay for damages and all that stuff. So everybody is insured, everybody have a balance, nobody is scared that, you know, I'm off, you know, and all that. So yeah, industry regulations, government and industries bodies should collaborate to establish comprehensive regulations that governs ethical use of automation, protect workers, and ensure responsible implementation. Yes, government should regulate it. And then of course, ethics and data should be protected as much as possible. You know, there should be laws to protect data as much as possible, that it doesn't go flying out in the air and all that. So because with the advent of robots and the influx of robots, man, it's very difficult to, data are flying everywhere, information is just flying everywhere here and there. You know, it's actually easier to get any information that you want to get, and that is where we have to ethics. We are recommending ethics and data protection for, you know, guidelines, to give guidelines to safeguard individuals and privacy and protect their data and all that stuff. Yeah. So in conclusion, the world of robotics and labor law is a dynamic and ever-changing landscape. By working together and embracing innovative solutions, we can harness the potential of automation to improve our lives while safeguarding the rights and welfare of our workforce. As we continue to navigate this exciting journey, let us remain committed to creating a future where technology and humanity flourish hand in hand. Let's all come to the reality that, man, robots, tech is here to stay, and it's here to make our life very, very easy. I mean, a lot of things that I've thought some years ago that were a problem, right? Even though I don't have it now, I've seen solutions, like I've seen robotic solutions to them. It's just for me to have the money and then be able to purchase them. I'm like, man, this is actually nice. Just my thoughts is even coming to life. Like I can actually focus on various other things, my various needs and all that stuff. So it's just for us to balance it, gain more training, you know, constantly reinvent ourselves, and you know, life is going to be the sky is going to be our starting point. Robots is here to stay, to help us move faster. So to strike a balance between embracing automation's benefits and protecting workers' rights, we must act proactively. Policymakers, industries, and workers themselves, they play pivotal roles in shaping a future where technology coexists harmoniously with a skilled and valued workforce. So thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you very much for that very, very wonderful presentation, Oli, on behalf of Group 2. Thank you very much for the slides. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to the group members that made up the presentations, and the group leader and the compiler for a very beautiful slides. I still can't see Mr. Gabriel on the call with us yet, so I'll call on Mr. Bode to give us comments and remarks on both presentations before we start taking the questions.
Yeah, okay. So, okay, interesting slides. I took a look at them prior. So I want to make some corrections to what some of the slides presented. I think one of the slides said robotics is an application of AI. That's completely false and wrong. Robotics is not an application of AI. Robotics itself precedes AI, right? So robotics, when you're talking about branches of robotics, you don't have to deal with surgical robots, you deal with robots in manufacturing, you deal with drones, you deal with autonomous vehicles, which are also robots. You deal with, so robotics itself So artificial intelligence can be applied in robotics, right? Artificial intelligence is just one of the ways man is trying to mimic human intelligence. Artificial intelligence is not in itself any physical thing, right? It's trying to mimic man's intelligence, and so far it is nowhere close to man's intelligence because it's heavily based on trained data, right? Which is subject to change, right? In order for you to mimic human intelligence, you would have to be able to the system will have to be able to take in an input, right, and give an almost immediate response, which is based on current information that they have, right? So now we can say ChatGPT does this, and no, ChatGPT and these other algorithms are based on trained data that are past data, even if it's a day ago, even if it's a day behind, it's past data. But we're talking about when we're talking about human intelligence, we're talking about being able to make an assessment based on information that is occurring right now, right? So, and then there are different factors that cause you to be able to make a decision. There are different influences. There's the emotional, there's the logical, there's the psychological things. So many things are involved in making decisions, right? And we all know machines will not be able to have all these aspects in order to make their decisions. So that's a clear distinction between robotics and artificial intelligence. Like I said, for those practicing in the industry, you would find that robotics itself has been and automation has been deployed as far back as the 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, right? In industries, in manufacturing, in production, in automation and things like that. It's not new. It's not something that artificial intelligence is just bringing in it's just a new buzzword that is that is now finding more use cases, right? Robotics being one of them. So based on other aspects of the slides that were discussed, I would like to point out, yes, we're going to see artificial intelligence being deployed in many aspects of life. Definitely, we're going to see that. A lot of the, if we look at global economy right now, a lot of the low paying or a lot of the low income jobs are going to be under threat and are going to be under threat. For instance, cleaners, you have people that clean the streets, people that clean facilities. You have people that are going to be doing low-income jobs, the jobs that are the low-income skill, right? These are jobs that are the highest rate of being what they call it, overtaken by automated machinery. But AI is going to target more of, I would say AI will target more of the jobs that are even, what they call it, that even require some form of, let's say, not high paying jobs, but higher than low income jobs, right? Higher than the lowest low income jobs. They're going to target more of that. You're going to see systems that are going to, especially, so one thing I want to point out is for economies that are heavily capitalist, like the US, like Europe, a lot of countries in Europe, you will see the deployment of AI, right? But there are economies that are not as heavily capitalist. you may or may hardly see AI take over that way, right? Or if it does things that are heavily capitalist, you would see a lot of job displacement by AI, because a capitalist system is focused on profits. So you're going to have a lot of these situations where AI comes into play and takes a lot of those jobs. Finally, my observation has been that we in Africa, for instance, in the African sphere, for instance, a lot of before the African, education is the key factor here for job displacement that is going to occur with the use of AI systems. The educational system needs to be changed considerably. The educational system being deployed by a lot of countries so far is still preparing them for jobs for instance, in Africa, is still preparing them for jobs that happened, let's say, in the 1980s, in the 1970s, and let's say early 1990s. If for any economy that would be able to cope, the curriculum of that country needs to change. The educational system needs to be completely revamped. To include future, and not just even present, but future types of jobs that would come up going ahead. So educational system is heavily tied to the disruptions AI will cause. And for any economy that is forward thinking, they would take into consideration the educational system in order for them to actually be able to keep up with changes in the future. Yeah, I think for now, that's all I can say.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Body, for that contribution and correction. I believe all our mentees have taken note of that. I'm encouraging all our mentees to turn on their camera. We'll be taking the picture time before the question and answer sessions. So everyone, please put on your camera, smile for the camera for 30 seconds. So you can turn off your camera back. Thank you very much as you do so. Thank you, everyone. After we take the pictures, thank you very much. Thanks for seeing you, Mr. Abodi. Thanks for turning the camera. Thank you very much. So after the question, the picture time, we are taking in 5 questions. So I encourage all our mentees to, if you have a question, kindly raise your hand while I call on you to ask your question. I just posted a question on the chat box for our mentor. So we'll be starting with that question. Thanks everyone for turning on your videos. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. So Mr. Bode, I'm picking the question while I'm also waiting for our mentees to ask any question they have. Is it possible for robots to turn against humans? That's the question from our mentees. And the question is for you, sir. Sir, you're muted. Sir, please unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, I think usually I used to think, I think of late, I think many people, I used to feel we're past that question. But I guess it will keep reoccurring because a lot of people are either afraid based on the kinds of movies on Hollywood they watch, or maybe they are just not enlightened on how the industry works, especially those who are actually doing stuff in the industry. But based on the question, is it possible for robots themselves are just metal parts and sensors. Robots themselves cannot do anything, right? Now, and I'm going to go back to this. We have systems today that are connected to the internet. Let me give you an example. If a city, let's say like Lagos, has its, if a city like Lagos has its all its traffic lights connected to the internet, and an AI system is responsible for monitoring all those traffic lights and making decisions. Now, if the AI system has an issue, right? If the AI system has an issue, and if or let me not even get to the point of being that system. The hacker can shut down all the traffic lights in that state and cause a lot of accidents, right, at those T junctions. Now, if an AI system was responsible, so AI is going to become dangerous when AI is responsible for managing essential systems in an economy, right? So if you put AI in charge of water supply, the whole water supply of a city, or you put AI in charge of the traffic light system of a whole city, or you put AI in charge of the electric grid of a whole city, right? Now, if you give AI control over all of these essential services, and an AI which collects data from time to time and which is allowed to freely make decisions, right? At one point, that AI system, based on the data it's feeding, and let me give a case example. Let's say there's a region in a particular city that is predominantly Black, right? It's become predominantly Black. And there are other regions that are predominantly white, right? If the AI system is getting data, and the data is getting says that the Black community in that area, in that city, pays less for power, or hardly pays their bills, right? It will eventually, at one point, have to reduce the amount of electricity going to that community, because the data is being fed is that the Blacks in that community are going to definitely don't pay for power in that location, right? So these are the kinds of decisions AI can make, because if AI is giving control over what essential things in a nation, in an economy, if it's giving the decision-making power and it's feeding off data that is most likely heavily biased, then you have a situation where AI can make will make decisions based on the data. Any machine learning or artificial intelligence system is as good as the data it gets. The data determines the kinds of decisions it makes. So robots themselves cannot take over anything. Robots cannot take over anything. Robots cannot think, right? When paired with AI, robots become smarter, but there are deep specific applications where robots will be required to be smarter. It's not your everyday the robots that you interact with on a day-to-day that you would expect to have, which we are far away from. So robots are not going to be able to take over anything, that's for sure. But AI systems are systems that we should be mindful of, especially based on data. And those that are connected to the internet are those that that are connected to essential services are those that we should be mindful of. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Body. I'm still awaiting our mentees to ask the questions before we come to the end of the program for today. Come on, guys, let's ask our questions. Let's raise our hand. Our mentor is on the call. Okay, you can always send in your questions to the group chat. We'll make sure we forward them to our mentors so that we can send you back your answers to your questions. With this, we've come to the end of the program for today. We're so sorry Mr. Gabriel was unable to join us today. We have also loved to have his input, but I think Mr. Bode Akimo did a very, very wonderful job. Thank you very much. Special thank you for Gypsy to you, Mr. Bode, for joining us today and impacting on us. I've come to the end of today's program. I wish you all have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much once again, Mr. Bode.
Thank you, sir. We are grateful.
All right. Good day.